86% of cancer cases right now are either caught by symptoms or by accident. Almost 9 out of 10 people find out about cancer this way. So it's a really ineffective way to catch it early. With our full body MRI, we're screening the brain and, the head as a whole, the neck, the chest, abdomen, pelvis, legs, the spine, for all kinds of cancers. We kind of started with the problem and then built a solution around that problem.
Having a beer with Fred is really about getting to people's passion and what makes them tick. Having a beer and having honest, frank, clear conversation that inspires our audience is what it's about. So this podcast is about having a beer with Fred, right? And you're in the medical field, so maybe this isn't the best, but in reality, it's kind of a, and because I caught you off guard, you could toast with a water or whatever fits the bill. But the reality is, part of it is so that in a relaxed setting, entrepreneurs or people that are getting involved in startups or in business can talk about what they're doing, how they're doing it. I usually interview people and talk to people on this podcast that have affected or touched my life in some way, whether I'm doing business with them or not.
So my name's Michael Andoniadis. It's a Greek last name, Andoniades. Many people cannot spell it, but or say it, but that's it. And I'm located in St. Petersburg, Florida. So,
right. And I actually met you through your dad. I had the pleasure of meeting your dad a few years ago, and he is one of the examples of a true entrepreneur. He told me a little bit about your grandfather, who had a little bit of that spirit in him. And one of the things I talk about in this show is that entrepreneurs usually come from entrepreneurial families. Greeks, Lebanese, other ethnic groups have their passion for being entrepreneurial, and a number of I think your ethnicity and your makeup with your mom, who had a medical background, but also your education of going to an Ivy League school, Cornell, that was in hotel and restaurant. You were in the hotel school. I'm going to tell a little bit of your story for you. So, but the thought would be, because your dad has the Hollander, a very successful St. Pete hotel, boutique hotel, that might be a direction you would have taken. But you also had the ability to go on to a Wall Street firm or to other things. But you've taken a very interesting path, and I personally have experienced it because I actually got involved and took a true scan about a month ago now. Maybe it was a little over a month ago, and we did a video follow up, and you were on Dirty Water TV, which we'll show a little of that video here to give people an education about what your business is. But let's go back to the beginning of you're graduating from college. You get out of college, and you could have gone. I mean, I met you when you were in school, and was impressed that here's a young man that's bright, got the ability to go in any direction if he wants. If he wanted to go the corporate route, with a venture fund, with Marriott, whatever, and you chose a unique situation to do a startup in an industry obviously very large, but at the same time you picked a segment that would be a really growth area.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for the introduction. Save me a story. But yeah, during school, I've always been very entrepreneurial, focused all my life. Even when I was young, I've always tinkered around with different ideas and tried. I had like an import export business when I was very young, and actually during college, I had a software company called Viper, where we automated e-commerce checkout solutions for people. So we started that in my sophomore year, and I worked with 2 other co-founders of mine, and that was a pretty successful software venture. And we winded it down as college came to a close. And really, I was thinking to myself, in what direction I kind of wanted to head it. Like you mentioned, I was in the hotel school, so a lot of my peers were going to other financial firms, and that was kind of like the trajectory for a lot of people. But I have always been interested in medicine my entire life. My mom is a family practice physician, so I grew up around it,
She's your
and
partner, right? She's a
yeah, she
partner.
is now. She is. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
started TrueScan together.
right.
So when school was coming to a close, I was just speaking with her, and she was thinking she had been out of practice for a little bit, and she was thinking about getting back into practice. And we were, just kind of spitballing about the healthcare industry and how we had a few people that were close to us that had late stage cancer diagnoses. And, we were talking about how things could have been different, if they could have detected the cancer in its earliest stages. And a personal example was actually my grandmother, so my yaya in Greek. She actually had stage 4 gallbladder cancer, which is a pretty rare type of cancer, but it's something that there is no routine screening test for currently. And so she had it for probably many, many years. She had no idea. And then she one day woke up with symptoms, and within 6 months, that was it. So, if she had access to early detection technology like what we do at TrueScan with full body MRI scans, we're screening the gallbladder and the pancreas and other organs for, early signs of cancer. And that could have drastically, changed her outlook. Now, granted she was older, but this is true with even younger people too. And so, we've seen cancer cases in people in their 30s and 40s and now even 20s, popping up where there is no routine screening for even like women. Mammograms are recommended starting at the age of 40. And I mean, we see breast cancer in, women much younger than that. So, I think that my mom and I realized that there was a big problem, with early detection in healthcare because oftentimes we're treating symptoms rather than looking ahead of time. And it's true because if you look at the data, 86% of cancer cases right now are either caught by symptoms or by accident. So, let's say you went in for an x-ray of some body part and they accidentally saw a lesion on your liver and that ended up leading to a biopsy and then they realized you had cancer.
Yeah,
Almost 9 out of 10 people find out about cancer this way. So it's a really ineffective way to catch it early.
right.
And so with our full body MRI, we're screening the brain and, the head as a whole, the neck, the chest, abdomen, pelvis, legs, the spine for all kinds of cancer as early as stage 1 and other things like, aneurysms or autoimmune conditions like MS and, various other musculoskeletal conditions. So that's kind of, we kind of started with the problem and then built a solution around that problem.
And you're very unique. There's only, I think, one of these in on the west coast of Florida. There might be things in other parts of Florida, maybe Miami, or do you know of any others in Florida that are doing the full body scan?
Yeah, there's really not too many players doing this really across the country. There's a
Right.
there's a few companies that are doing it, but really what we focus on at TrueScan is not only providing a comprehensive, full body MRI, but also what we realized is what you do with those results is equally as important as the scan itself. So we make sure that with every scan, you have expert medical guidance, with either Dr. Lazara or my mom as well, Dr. Summers, who they go over the results with you for an hour, and we ensure that you know exactly what your next steps are. So
Right.
whether you need, a specialist referral to someone in our network within the Tampa Bay area, or even
Yeah.
just general guidance, we make sure, you
No,
have it.
and I think the biggest thing from a business standpoint was you saw a category, wellness, growing, which I look at it as wellness, right? Because the person that's going to do this is thinking in advance, I'm going to take care of myself. I want to know, like myself personally doing it, I was excited about it because of family members' health issues with MS or other things. But I also try to be healthy. I try to, you know, plan ahead. Cancer's affected family members. MS has affected family members. And in talking to your dad, when he said that you were going to pursue this, I got really excited about it. You saw a business niche, and I think your mom is also seeing a business niche in the whole wellness world on other things. And then we talked additionally about the heart and the ability to scan and do a CT scan, but something that may be less of an issue as far as I don't know the best way to explain it, but some people don't necessarily want to do CT scans for the heart, but there are imaging that you can do that might detect issues with the heart as well. You mentioned you might do something in that area.
That's right. Yeah. So what we're rolling out soon in the next 6 months is really it's the first cardiovascular screening test of its kind anywhere in the country. So we're combining both CT and ultrasound to not only evaluate the coronary arteries, which is the source of over 9 out of 10 heart attacks, but we're also assessing heart function as well as stroke risk by looking at the carotid arteries. So we're really creating this like 75 to 90-minute test that you can come in one visit and get a complete picture of your cardiovascular health.
Which, yeah, that really excites me because
Yeah.
I've lost three friends to heart attack in the last 3 years, lost maybe five or six to cancer, other things. But it seems at my age in the 60s, we're starting, even in the 50s, you're losing people. So if you can
Yeah.
eliminate and, catch things with a good degree of certainty, I think that to me, would motivate, good number of people to even pay privately to get this benefit for themselves if their insurance wouldn't cover it. That being said, most insurance doesn't cover this, right? Or some,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very rarely would they.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In time, I think the biggest thing, it's not as expensive as somebody might think when you really look like at Shipyard, our insurance plan, we actually insure 100%. So our policy is anything that happens, we pay for up to $60,000. Over that, there's a catch-all insurance. So in reality, we you could theoretically, I paid out of pocket, but at the end of the day, roughly what kind of dollars do you charge?
So for the full body MRI, we charge 2,500. That includes the 60-minute scan, the detailed radiology report, all of your scan images, and then the
Yeah.
hour-long video consult with the physician. Yeah.
Yeah. So for under $3,000, you can get a benchmark. You might do it 2 years later. You might do it a year later. You might do it 4 years later, but you'll be able to see head to toe. And for me, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it was worth it for me to have that um, because it gave me peace of mind and also a benchmark at 65. I'll be 65 shortly here this summer. And I'm excited about doing the heart as well
Sure.
because I didn't think I had any heart disease in my family. And then my sister Elizabeth said, no, three of your uncles died from heart attacks,
Really? Wow.
in their 60s. So,
Really?
yeah, which I never knew any of them because my dad was the youngest of eight. So a lot of people don't even realize they might,
Fair.
and often we don't think about it, right? So, and I like I am somebody who's interested in wellness. I also think from a business standpoint, there's a lot of opportunity there. Like at Shipyard, we do a lot of running races. We sponsor. We do a lot of wellness type things. And today, there's still an explosion of people that want to be fit. They want to be active. They want to live. I think two of my college roommates are both doctors, and you met one of them, Dr. Sabat, and he actually just retired and has been reading books and having fun and spending time with his grandkids. A little young to retire, I told him, but he had worked very, very hard for many years, and who knows what he'll do in the future. But I've told him about this, and he at some day will wants to do it as well. But the wellness part is a big part of his life, and so is my other roommate, Craig Flock, who is still practicing. But I think this industry, what you've created here with TrueScan, is going to blow up. Like I see people trying to knock you off or copy you. Do you think you'll do more of these in the future once you do this, or we try to build this model, franchise it, or
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I think, our focus really is right now, providing the best patient experience that we can. But we know that, this is something that people in other cities are going to need as well. So we're definitely going to, pursue expansion into other cities, not only for, the full body MRI tests, but also for our cardiovascular screening as well. Because I mean, cancer is the number 2 leading cause of death right now.
yeah,
And the thing that tops it is heart disease is the number 1 leading cause of death. So, we're kind of tackling the two leading causes of death, by doing this. So, we definitely are looking to expand.
And the whole other side of your business, there was a whole other area there with other services that you haven't really introduced yet. But do you want to talk about that at all, or do you want to leave that for another time?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of briefly go over it. On top of imaging, there's certainly a lot of information that you can gain from doing comprehensive blood tests as well as genetic screening. There's also some other interesting companies that we've been, in the works with for retinal screening, for looking for eye diseases, as well as skin cancer detection as well. So there's a lot of other modalities, that we're thinking about adding, later down the road to really, I mean, be a one kind of platform for people to access all types of screening tests. Yeah.
Right. So you'll evolve the business into that. It's as time goes, and your mom was also doing a private practice, or did that not happen? Or
No, so she's not currently. She really now is what her main role is meeting with patients, after their scans and going over the results with them and helping with any of the clinical follow-up. So if, they need a referral to someone else in the area, she's really kind of overseeing that whole process. So that has been keeping her busy.
that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And has it been very busy since because you just opened, how many months ago now?
Yes, we opened about 4 months ago, and we've already seen, a lot of people have found out about us, particularly through word of mouth. So people like yourself, telling your friends and family, about the experience that you had, that it really has been helpful.
Take a minute and give the website and the address and the best way to inquire.
Sure. So you can visit our website. It's TrueScan, TrueScanMRI.com. And you can also give us a call at 727-256-0095. And our social media as well. We're on Instagram and Facebook, so you can learn more about, what it is that we do. And our website has a lot of information. And it's very easy to schedule a scan as well. We're located in St. Petersburg, Florida. You don't need a referral to schedule, so you can book online or just give us a call, within 30 seconds, and, we can get you scheduled very soon. So, we make the process very easy.
It's been exciting for me to see from the discussion about this, theoretically doing this business, to you actually getting it done. And I like to say there's three or four things. The first thing is, timing. The second thing is location. And the third thing are the people, and the people that you associate with. And then adding a new one is persistence, and
That one's important.
and you've been very, very persistent, and you've had a vision from day one, and from the discussion of what you thought you might do to actually executing. I salute you and say cheers
you.
to you, because it's not easy. A lot of people.
You get some battle scars, that's for sure. As you know.
Well, as you're learning and have learned through your, early childhood ventures and college ventures, there's timing and things that evolve, and this will. You've already impacted people's lives. You've impacted my life. You've impacted others, and I think the future will be very exciting. I'm excited for you, and I appreciate you coming on, having a beer with Fred, and.
Well, thank you.
We'll
Yeah,
take it from
I
there.
appreciate you having me on, and
Yeah.
cheers to you and
Cheers.
and everybody. So we greatly appreciate you and hope to see you soon back in Florida.
We will. Cheers.
Yeah.